The next Apple event could be coming soon with some very big surprises. WWDC has now come and gone, and although we're expecting to see the iPhone 13 launch this fall, what could happen between then and now? We know Apple is working on a lot of very exciting products that we could see sooner than later. In this video, I'm breaking down the 7 most exciting Apple products set to launch sometime this year in 2021, and some of these could launch as soon as maybe just a couple of weeks from now. And a huge thanks to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Squarespace is your one-stop destination for creating a beautiful looking website for your blog, portfolio, business, and much, much more. Stay tuned to learn more. Unfortunately, Apple has not held an August event in many, many years, if they've ever even held one at all. And as much as I wish this year would change all that, I don't think it's gonna happen. But that doesn't mean there couldn't be a flurry of press releases and announcements of many exciting new Apple products that could be launching very soon. We know Apple is hard at work on many different projects, and it seems like they've got a lot to announce and release before the end of this year. According to the rumor mill, Apple is supposedly showing the Mac line a lot of love inside of Cupertino these days, and according to multiple rumors and sources and people like John Prosser, there is a lot going on inside of Cupertino right now to build up the Mac line to make it bigger and better than ever before. Now, when Apple first debuted that new iMac at the Spring Loaded event a few weeks ago, it was kind of hard to look at that white bezel around the iMac. You either loved it or you hated it, and I'm still sort of coming around to the idea. The more I see it in person and in real life photos, the more it's sort of growing on me, which I guess is kind of a good thing because it looks like it's kind of here to stay. John Prosser gave us our first real look at the next generation MacBook Air, which could be launching sometime soon, and it looks like Apple's thinnest and lightest laptop is going to get quite the makeover. RIP MacBook, doesn't look like that's coming back, but long live the MacBook Air because Apple is supposed to be giving this laptop a lot of attention. First things first, it looks like colors are making their way from the iPhone and the iPad and the iMac down to the MacBook Air, as the MacBook Air could come in multiple colors. Gone is sort of the tapered design we've seen on the MacBook Air for over a decade, and in is now the new uniform sort of boxy design we had on the iPhone and this more industrial design language we've seen on other Apple products. It's nice to see on the MacBook Air, and this looks like a very beautiful laptop. We also might be getting a white keyboard and possibly white bezels around the display. Again, which is either one of those things you'll love or hate, but hopefully it starts to grow on more and more of us, especially if Apple kind of makes this a theme in their different laptops like the MacBook Air and maybe even potentially a lower end MacBook Pro. The keyboard should now feature full-size function keys, which is super nice to see, and also that's going to mean that the trackpad is going to get a little bit smaller on the MacBook Air, though it still is pretty giant relatively compared to other Windows laptops, and is still plenty spacious and plenty usable. Now, according to Bloomberg, Apple is working on a higher end MacBook Air that would have the successor to the M1 processor, but this is not like a next generation M processor, but it's the same core count, the same 8 cores as the current M1, but they're going to be running faster. So this is sort of a chip targeted at the higher tier of lower end Apple devices. But it seems like a lot of the components for this seem to be done, especially if they're basically going with a touched up version, a tuned up version of the M1. So maybe we could see this new MacBook Air launch sooner than later, maybe even before the end of the year in 2021. And of course, we are still waiting for the 14-inch and 16-inch MacBook Pro, the big redesign. We did not get that, obviously, at WWDC, but hopefully that is the next new Mac that gets released. Next up, let's talk about another Apple product that hasn't really gotten a whole lot of love lately, and one that I think many people have kind of forgotten about, and that is the iPhone SE. Now, yes, this device just did get a refresh back in 2020, and it's still really good in 2021, but there are many rumors on what this next generation iPhone SE could do, and more importantly, what it could look like. Now, there are a lot of rumors and a lot of speculation on what this next gen iPhone SE could look like, and they sort of go down 2 diverging paths. Some believe the iPhone SE is going to receive yet another small incremental upgrade. It's probably going to look the same, kind of the same casing as the iPhone 8. It'll probably get 5G support, maybe a new processor inside, maybe some camera improvements, but not a whole lot of changes coming to the iPhone SE. While other rumors suggest there are much bigger changes in store for this new lower cost iPhone, perhaps adapting the design language of the iPhone 11, but instead of having a notch, maybe having a hole punch notch at the top of the display, maybe Touch ID built into the power button, maybe Face ID be in that hole punch notch, and maybe 2 cameras on the back as well. Like I said, lots of rumors here, lots of speculation. We don't exactly know what is going to happen with this device, and although we heard from some sources that we could see a new iPhone SE launch this year in 2021, doesn't look like that's going to happen. Many analysts predict that we won't see a change to the iPhone SE until next year, and the change we see will probably be smaller. So in 2022, we'll get a smaller upgrade to the iPhone SE, and then possibly the next year in 2023, that's when we'd see the hole punch notch on the iPhone SE, a bigger design change, all that stuff coming to the lower end iPhone. So some good news, some bad news. New iPhone SE is coming, maybe by the end of this year, but probably not. Alongside a new MacBook Air, we're also hearing Apple is working on a new Mac Mini, but this one would be sort of updated a bit, geared towards pro end users, but would still feature a colorful design as well. According to John Prosser, this Mac Mini could be filled with ports galore, with USB-A ports, USB-C Thunderbolt ports, a magnetic power cable, and even a full-size HDMI port as well. Unfortunately, no SD card slot here, but you still have plenty of other ports to work with. Now, an interesting note here, because this Mac Mini is supposedly geared towards these pro high-end users, Bloomberg says that this device will have the same processor that's going inside the all-new MacBook Pros. Again, unfortunately, no concrete timeline on when we could see this Mac Mini, but because this has the same chip as the new MacBook Pros, that means Apple really just has to iron out sort of the details on the cosmetics and the changes to the chassis and stuff like that. So maybe we could see this launch soon as well, possibly before the end of the year. That'd be super great to see, and I am all in on a pro-end, pro-focused, small little Mac Mini. Another all-new product expected to launch this fall is an all-new iPad mini, but I'm sorry to say it's not gonna look like this, but it's probably gonna look more like this. Actually, no, old Robert, you're wrong. Things have actually changed, and there is some good news to discuss about the all-new iPad mini. And according to Mark Gurman over at Bloomberg, there is a refreshed mini supposedly in the works that could launch this year in 2021. Now, details are a little sparse. What we're hearing that Apple is at least testing a model with no home button and thinner bezels. Now, could we get sort of this iPad Pro-esque design in a smaller form factor like these renders that looks absolutely amazing with Face ID built in and the latest and greatest Apple silicon inside? Or could Apple do sort of more an iPad Air-esque design approach where we get colors, still a really nice display, though it doesn't have ProMotion, maybe Touch ID built into the power button? There are a couple different ways that Apple could go with this, but I think that everyone would be happy to see some kind of upgrade come to the iPad mini, whether it's an iPad Pro Mini or an iPad Air Mini. Before we continue, chances are you guys know that I'm a big fan of Apple, but another company I am a huge fan of and that is very near and dear to my heart is this video's sponsor, Squarespace. When I sat down to build my first website, I was looking for a platform that offered a few really important things. First, a huge variety of beautifully crafted templates, perfect for blogs, portfolios, e-commerce shops, and many, many more options. I also wanted templates that were auto-optimized, that would look great on tablets and phones and computers and any device my viewers would be looking at it on. And I also simply just wanted an easy way to actually build my website. And that is why 6 years ago, I originally chose to build my website on Squarespace, and that's why I'm still using it today. I'm a very happy customer myself, and the service has all those features that it had all those years ago, plus a whole lot more. Squarespace just keeps getting better and better, and more features are added all the time. I also really love that Squarespace has all the tools you need built in to help your website grow and to become as successful as possible. In just a couple of clicks, you've got access to powerful built-in SEO tools and detailed analytics, and more ways to engage with your audience, like a built-in tool for e-commerce if you want to start an online store, or one of my favorites, an easy way to add a members area to your website if you want to kind of connect with your audience on a whole new level and provide some bonus exclusive content. So whether you're looking to build your first website or your 100th for your blog, portfolio, business, or even something just for fun, Squarespace is the one place to go to make it all happen and make your website dreams come true. If you want to learn more, check it out for yourself today and get a free trial. Hit that link down below or go to squarespace.com/theapplecircle and use the coupon code TheAppleCircle to save 10% off the first purchase of a website or domain. Start building with Squarespace today. It's so easy, so simple, and so powerful. I love it, and I know you guys will too. Learn more today at the link down below or by going to squarespace.com/theapplecircle. And rounding out the list of new Macs, according to Bloomberg, Apple is working on a new higher-end Mac Pro with Apple Silicon inside, and also an all-new iMac. Now, by all accounts, this Mac Pro sounds like an absolute beast and should just be an absolute powerhouse that should be able to shred through just about anything, though we probably won't see that until next year because that'll probably be at the end of Apple's Silicon transition. The iMac, on the other hand, in our heads and in our dreams sounds promising, but we just don't have a lot of details. What we're hoping is that Apple sort of adopts a Pro Display XDR design language for this higher end iMac. Call it an iMac Pro that has super slim bezels. It's got a powerful M processor inside, a super high resolution display. Maybe it's 30 inches, 32 inches. I could go on and on and on what we'd like to see, though we just don't know specifics. According to Bloomberg, Apple is working on this higher end iMac, or at least this larger iMac, though development was paused a bit to make sure the 24-inch could be finished in time, and we just don't know what this could be. Hopefully it's an iMac Pro, though it just could be sort of a larger displayed iMac like we got just a few weeks ago, so we just really don't know specifics, but we know one is coming soon. Possibly we could see this one before the end of the year as well. And finally, the last wild card here is the Apple mixed reality headset, which won't launch until 2022, according to rumors, but we could see a sneak peek of that sometime this year. We did hear rumors that Apple was supposed to give us sort of a sneak peek at this new device, this sort of Oculus Quest-like mixed reality headset that it was loaded with cameras and sensors and would show you the real world and an augmented world and a virtual world. It's sort of hard to pinpoint exactly what this device could do and who it was geared for, but we know Apple has been working on this for a while, and this device would sort of be the precursor for Apple Glass coming in a few years. It seems very exciting. We know Apple obviously cares a lot about augmented reality and virtual reality as well, and this could be a very exciting device. Now, there's really no clear indication on when we could see this. Maybe it's the one more thing we get a sort of a sneak peek of at the fall event with the iPhone 13. Maybe it's a separate event. Maybe it's just a press release. We don't know specifics, so again, keep an eye out for this one because we should learn more before the year is up. And that's it, guys. Those are 7 products we are expecting to see launched, or at least get a good sneak peek of before the end of the year in 2021. Obviously, a lot of new Macs, some new iPhones, possibly a new iPad. There is lots to get excited about, of course, with the iPhone 13 coming very soon as well. What are you guys looking forward to most? Are you ready for that AR mixed reality headset? Do you want that all new iPad mini? Or is there another product that wasn't featured that you really want to know more about and you cannot wait to buy? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Robert Rosenfeld from the Apple Circle. Thank you very much, and I'll see you all in the next one.